Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Evil Monkey here to bring you a recap of the First Descendant dev stream for April 2025. There was a lot in this stream, a lot of things we were very excited for to have happen, from dynamic physics or jiggle physics, all the way to challenge mode for Void Erosion Purge, and don't forget Ultimate Blair update as well. So we're just going to hop right into this. So, of course, to start this off, we have to start with Ultimate Blair, something I've been excited for a very long time as a long-time Blair main. This is something I've been looking forward to forever. I honestly didn't think I'd ever get Ultimate Blair. I thought it'd be Ultimate Enzo first. But, as with every Ultimate character that's come out, we're getting also a storyline featuring Blair. This one will be a lot more lighthearted compared to the other ones. The developer said because Blair's personality is a lot more upbeat, he will also bring that into the story compared to the other stories, which may have been a little bit more depressing or had a lot more sad moments. This will just be Blair being Blair. So the big news, even though I am excited for that story, is the two new mods, which will be Killer Recipe, changing Blair's 1, 2, 4, and his passive ability. This is my favorite one, by the way. And Next Level Arson, which will change his first and third ability, which also looks like it kind of reminds me of Valby gameplay, but with Blair. Anyways, let's just jump right into these abilities and break them down. Starting with Blair's first mod, changing 4 abilities is called Killer Recipe. This one's passive actually now, instead of having to rely off flame wells, relies on target being under burn status. If it's on burn status and you hit it with an ability, you get increased status effects applied to it, including skill crit hit rate, skill crit damage, and skill power modifier. Also, if you attack or defeat an enemy inflicted with burn, you get something called Chef's Touch, which is used for your other new abilities. Starting with Spicy Meatball, which, as you see on screen, is just you throwing a lot of fireballs at the enemy, increases based on the duration value. This one actually doesn't have anything to do with the Chef's Touch, but your second ability, Temperature Check, does. This one used to be based off you got mana back on the number of flame wells you had on the ground. Now it's based off Chef's Touch, and you can just recover mana. It seems like a pretty free ability, in my opinion. It'll be pretty much fixing all of his mana issues. I mean, I guess he never had mana issues, but any potential mana issues. And then his fourth one, as you guys can see on the screen, is a lock-on ability. This one seems really spicy to me. This one increases his target count based off the Chef's Touch, which I'm not certain how many targets you can actually get to. You guys can see all the information up on the screen. I'm assuming it says max fire count, target count is 6, so I'm assuming that's it. But we'll have to see if that's actually it. Anyways, this looks like it's going to be the best build for him for just general use. He's going to be using this one, but we'll kind of see. I like the idea that you just blends his ability more. This gives him more mobility. One of Blair's biggest issues was having flame wells slowing him down. Once ever you'd set up all your flame wells, you would already have the area cleared and it would just feel kind of useless. You can never get your full potential off. Now that they're making it something that you have as a passive that's always with you, it improves it a lot. I don't think this will be boss killing as much unless the Deadly Feast can actually target all of its stuff on one person. I don't know. We'll have to test that when it actually comes out. But yeah, this seems like it'll be a really fun one. I'm assuming this is less of wave clear and more of just general use, but it seems like it will be really good. Going on to Ultimate Blair's second new mod, this one's called Next Level Arson, changing his first and third ability. The first ability becomes Merciless Arson, creating flame walls behind you as you run forward. This seems similar to Valby's ability to create water behind herself as she's running around, but the difference is, unlike Valby, who gets locked into her ability and can't do anything, Blair appears to be able to use guns and abilities. As you guys can kind of see throughout this section that's clipped out of the dev stream, he is actually using his first ability and his new third ability, Hot Delivery, which Hot Delivery will now create 3 flamethrowers instead of 1 in front of you, increasing in level based off range increase. This wasn't really dove into too much, but it appears it just increases the width and the range even further. This will be a cool combo, as it seems like it'll be really good for wave clear. You basically becoming a fire train, just running through enemies, bulldozing them over. It seems like this will be really good for wave clear and 400%. I still think Killer Recipe will be more the meta one we use, but both will be good for Blair and will create fun, unique builds and give new playstyles to him. On top of Blair getting 2 mods, we're also getting 2 additional new mods. These will be replacements to Voltia, essentially, as the devs described it, in case you missed Voltia, but you really wanted to be able to deal with the void shields in the game. We'll have ones for guns and abilities. These will effectively be exactly the same as Voltia's passive. That's how they described it. I'm not going to go too in depth to it. I'll just throw up the descriptions on screen. If you guys have ever messed with Voltia, then you basically know what I'm talking about. You'll get additional damage once you hit a shield, and that's effectively it. The biggest mod change, though, is the addition of these symbols that indicate whether the value will be multiplicative or additive. This will give you some visual clarity in saying how this build will go and help you with creating your own builds. This is just a small little quality of life update they wanted to add, but I figured I'd include in this section as it is pretty massive. Reactors and components time. So this actually has 2 massive updates. So first off, we're getting 5 new component sets, but that's not even the big part. We'll jump into that in a second because this next part is so exciting. So there's an update to make it easier for you to grind out the perfect components in reactors. So now we'll have an upgrade system for components and reactors. So let's just say you are looking for a reactor with perfect gold crit rate and crit damage. You can now not have to worry about getting the gold version, but instead could find one with, let's just say, blue or purple, and then you can level up by feeding materials into it over time and bring you up to that gold level and max out your build. This will actually help a lot with min-maxing. The devs made a comment on stream, if you were wondering, of how much time this will take to actually do. They said the overall goal of this is to reduce the time that you take to actually farm out your reactors and components to help reduce any kind of exhaustion you may feel from this. It overall is a really good system. You guys can see the image on screen of this. I'm very excited for this, as I do have a few reactors that aren't quite fully maxed out. This helps a lot, especially with components. Jumping right in, though, to the 5 new component sets. These are pretty insane. You can already kind of assume what characters they'll be used in. One, though, called Shell Crusher, is just another Voltia one. We can just kind of throw that away. I mean, if you already have Voltia, don't worry about it. Though the big one, though, as course as every ultimate character that comes out, there has to be a component set that goes with it. Firebrand. This one will increase your skill effect range. It will lower your movement speed just slightly, but a minus 30% fire resistance on enemies hit by burn-related attacks is insane. This might be used on Blair. It's still hard to say because, God, it's hard to resist that plus skill power we get already. But we'll see from that. The next huge one, though, that I'm definitely excited for is the Plague update. This one is definitely meant for Freyna and Keelan, but I'm feeling is more on Keelan, as you acquire custom resource, you get a plus 21.6% additional power modifier on toxic skills. This is insane. It's definitely Keelan. Keelan's already breaking records with dungeons. He's just going to get even more insane now. It's just going to be crazy overall. Then, of course, as always, we have a defense one, the Moving Fortress. This one just pretty much increases your defense and survivability. Nothing too impressive there. If you want more defense stats, I say this is okay. More than likely, I could see people running the 2-set version of this instead of the 4-set, because you lose a whole bunch of crit stats. You could technically run the 4-set of that, but it's probably just going to be a 2-set. And then finally is Enlightened Mage. This one increases non-attribute. I personally think this will be used with Ajax most of all, since there's an insane wave clear Ajax build where you just jump, and keep killing everything when you land. 3 stacks ain't gonna be that hard to do. I don't think you really need the damage on that, but you know what? More damage, who can blame you? These are the 5 new ones. like I said, Shell Crusher, not that important. Moving Fortress, typical defense. The other three are huge, though. Definitely going to use those three. There is some bad news related to components. The component cores, which were planned to come out soon, will in fact be pushed back now. They gave us a couple of reasons for this. Number one, they feel as though if they introduce it right now, it may cause a severe imbalance to the game, as they just updated a whole bunch of characters with new buffed abilities, and with a whole bunch of other things coming into the game. They're not sure how balance will feel. They want to collect more data before they introduce this. The bigger reason, though, and this reason I agree with, is they want to move dev resources over to Season 3 update, which they want to improve and make as big as possible. I agree with this, make Season 3 as big as possible. I'm fine with waiting for component cores later. They did say that will come out eventually. You'll just have to wait a little bit longer. So that's the unfortunate news. But that has everything to do with components and reactors for right now. This was all quite big news. But let's move on to the next section. Void Erosion Purge update is just massive. There's some things we've been waiting for, including new challenge stages. But first, let's talk about the fact that you can now use abilities in the Void Purge stages. They will no longer be nerfed as much. If you guys have been aware of this, the devs did release a comment, I think 4 days ago, about this. They did also release a video. If you guys had seen that 9-minute video where it took him 9 minutes to clear it, that was the developer did comment on that, saying he was kind of rushed in releasing that because he was excited to release it. They have since released another video. I will link it below this video, where it's a 5-minute clear. They've also said they've had other people on the team cleared in like 2 to 3 minutes. So don't be worried that you just won't be able to clear with an ability character. They have reassured us you will be able to, because they want diversity in this. Sounds like it'll be now a nice mesh of gunplay and abilities. We'll kind of see how this goes with further updates, but that's not the only update. The other big update is the challenge stages, something I've been questioning when we'd get it, because it had been so long since we got Void Purge stages. These new challenge modes will have their own leaderboard and will be separated from farming, as 1 through 30 will now be defined as the farming stages, and all future stages added will be determined as challenge stages. These challenge stages will have leaderboards for complete them. If you get within the top 100, you will get a medal for the next season. That'll represent how far you got up. We'll go more into that in the medal system that we'll be talking about next, but this is a very good indication that they're separating farming from endgame, which I think is very good. Endgame farming should get you to endgame. Endgame should not be farming. So we'll see how this all goes. I am very excited for this personally. Also, if you do complete the challenge stages with any character, you will get a one-time reward for that character, and you can get it for every single character for completing all the stages. They said that the reward would be a bundle of cores. They didn't say what level of cores, so it could be anywhere from 1 to 10. I'm hoping they're 10 cores. I feel like that'd make the most sense, as you are pushing yourself to do challenge stages. But this is pretty exciting. Also, during the section, you may have seen the images that were on screen. These were shown while they were talking about the erosion stages, and I'm hoping they're part from maybe new stages. Hoping. I'd like to see new stages and map types, new designs. I really want to see them go all out with this. So this will be cool. Let's see how challenging this is, and we'll go forward with it. Okay, the medal system. Something I've been looking forward to. They announced it a few months ago. It's mainly just for visual appeal, but I like the sense of accomplishment from it. You will apparently get these from doing achievements. They said they wanted something for players who have been around for a while to have something. These medals will apparently level up as you repeatedly do the achievements as well. They don't really have any examples here, but we'll see that once they actually come out. You will, like I said, get one from Void Erosion Purge if you're in top 100, but you only get that medal for a singular season, meaning if you got top 100 in season 3, let's say, you'll have that medal for season 4. But season 5, it would disappear unless you were in top 100 in season 4. That's pretty much it. Medals are pretty basic, but enjoyable. Now moving on to the Rip My Wallet section, the cosmetic section. They announced 2 skin lines, I guess you could call them, and Ultimate Blair skin. Let's start with Ultimate Blair skin. I love the look of this. They showed the concept art a while ago. The only thing I'm not too happy about is the wings, but since that'll probably be a backpack attachment, I'll just not use the wings. But I'm definitely buying that day one. It looks phenomenal. I love the demon dragon humanoid look. Just fantastic. Can't wait to see people use that. We will also be getting the much anticipated corn skin, the meme skin that they announced, but I will definitely rock this skin. It looks hysterical. I hope they come out with more joke skins like this. This will also be available soon. Then there's one more. It's the cadet line, I believe is what it's called. This will be like a summer school line. There is one thing about this line you guys need to realize. This will not come out with the next update. This will be late April, they said. So you'll have to wait a little bit more for this. But as you guys can see on the screen, there's one for each female character. Take it how you want it. I like the previous cadet skins better. But whoever wants to enjoy the skin. That's pretty much it for cosmetics. But emotes, we get some pretty cool stuff. There is one icon for an emote that was shown in the jiggle physics section, which we'll get to soon. That one they didn't really show off the emote too well, but there's a new emote there. I'll show the image on the screen here. But the one that really looks good is this Easter egg skin. I'm very excited for this. This one will be a login bonus reward, so you guys can get it for free. If you log in on the correct time, I'll post it on the screen there so you guys can see it. Anyways, that one will be really hype. Now for the totally not jiggle physics, but dynamic physics being added section. This is the much anticipated thing everyone's constantly asked since the game came out. We'll just count the video play for a few seconds. They show off Bunny and Serena. There's not really much to comment on. It's jiggle physics. They said currently not every character is done, but they will be soon. And while the upper half has jiggle physics, they said they're still working on adding a lower half. So, W for whoever wants it. If you don't want it, you can turn off the slider. We'll see. We'll see how distracting this gets. I still need to concentrate on enemies, so we'll see if I will turn this on or not. It may distract me a little too much. We'll see. There will, like I said, there will be a slider for this, so it's optional. Okay, next section is the May update section. We'll kind of go through this quickly because this is just a roadmap they've given us. They gave us a little bit of information, but not too much. There's the dynamic motion, which we already went over. Arcade tuning socket, which they did give us some information. I don't think they meant to, but they talked about it in the Q&A. Apparently, we'll just farm out an item and it will get added to that socket, and it'll add extra power to our tree. They didn't go into too much detail about it, but it doesn't sound like it's expanding the skill tree. It sounds like it's just an item that you get a slot there, which will be interesting to see. We'll, of course, get the new Void Abyss Intercept, which will be Ice Maiden, which assuming is a variation of Dead Bride. The rotation of the hard special operations, Party Finder. But they went into a little bit of detail of this. Basically, you'll be able to find other people through what seems like a tag system. So if you're trying to farm crystallization catalysts, you can find other people who are also trying to do that. Claw size, so on and so forth. We'll see more of that in the next dev stream that will be announced for the May update. Closer to this update, then we have View Other Descendants. They've talked about this where you can view other people's builds. This is something that will be added soon. Core item changes. I'm assuming that for this, they're talking about the weapon multi-hit edition here. This will be kind of cool. This was an asked about thing. They didn't go too much into it, so yeah. Inversion reinforcement preset. This is something that was much asked for. Basically, if you have anything in your preset and you're like, damn, I really, really wanted to have my inversion reinforcement there, well, now you will, so you won't have to change it every time you change a character. And then Photoshop will have sticker and frames. So for Season 3, unfortunately, there wasn't much information given, except that they will do a dev live stream at PAX East on May 11th. I'll throw up the information on the screen here so you guys can see it. They did also say that they were hiring professional cosplayers for Bunny and Serena that you can meet and take photos with, I guess. And that they would be offering special grab bag gifts. I don't know what it is in the gifts. They just said it'd be something really cool. I will not be going for that. So the only other information they announced is through the Q&A that they want to improve player experience with the battle passes. They want to have players feel like the battle pass feels better to get through offering better things through it. We'll see how that goes. They plan to do that for Season 3, and we'll get more information for that. So new player experience is something they've been working on for a long time. They've been slowly trying to improve it, but most people watching this video probably aren't new players, so I'll just throw this up on screen and say the quick version of it. They basically have reduced the amount of stuff you need to do as a new player by 40%, and hope to get players to endgame quicker, and have a guide mission that'll apparently introduce players to mechanics and everything a little bit easier. I don't really know with any of this, so we'll see how it goes. They want to plan for Season 3 to have a better new player experience because they plan to pull in new players with Season 3. The devs did comment some on balance changes in this live stream. It wasn't much, but they did talk about why they felt there was backlash for the Inez nerfs. They said this was probably due to their fact that they didn't communicate properly on their vision for the game and the reasoning they had behind the nerfs. They apologized for that and said in the future they want to do better in that and further communicate when they feel like there needs to be a balance change and the reasoning behind it. Also, Serena will be looked at in the future. They just have to gather more data, so we'll see how that goes. A couple of minor updates. Void shards will no longer be used to open any of the patterns. That system's gone. They did not say what will happen with void shards, so we're still waiting to hear on that. And then there will also be some improvements to you acquiring arcade factor experience. This is what's used to level up your arcade trees, but that's pretty much the only two minor updates. Okay, the Q&A section this time is quite short, so we'll just kind of rapid fire through these. Skill visual effects slider is currently being worked on. This will be able to change the amount of visuals on your screen, it sounds like. AMD support for FSR4 and NVIDIA DLSS4 are currently being developed, but no plans for release yet, so we don't know when it'll be released. Plans are in the works for Luna. They can't announce it yet, though, what they're planning. Idle animations are still in the works. They're currently in discussion of how they want to go forward with that. Apparently, their backend data has shown that error reports have decreased, but they still need people to report the errors they get so they can further improve that. There's also a new community manager that was hired. They are currently being trained. And then paint and error dyes are currently being addressed, but still make sure to report it. And finally, they're currently testing new game modes, but we'll talk more about it once they've actually fully tested these and decide which ones they want to release. But they are testing them on their dev servers. I put this one at the end of the video because I almost forgot about this, but there's also an event going on once Blair launches. The dates will be thrown up on the screen there. You can play and get a whole bunch of crystallization catalysts, it looks like, and some other resources. So don't forget to log in for these events. And that wraps up the recap for the First Descendant dev stream. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the first in many videos I plan to do for the First Descendant. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, I stream on Twitch every day. If y'all want to go ahead and chat about First Descendant, I'm live every day at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'll catch you all next video.